Hello, we're going to look at this base design. So first thing we need to do is make our triangles. On the triangles we're going to put a square foundation on each point. We're then going to fill in all the triangles. Now we need to pick which way the base is going to face, and we need to work out where our TC is going to be. The best bet is to have the TC facing whichever section your base is not going to get raided from. So in this scenario it'll be facing the water because they can't shoot rockets from the water. So more than likely when they blow into the base it'll be from an angle that they can shoot from. So more than likely probably up on that hill or up on this hill over there. So we want the TC on the back corner here. So the TC is going to go on one of these back triangles. So in this scenario we're going to use this triangle. I'm going to upgrade it to armored just to show you. Next we want to build the bunker in. So the bunker is going to be required to move one triangle of the inner core, and the adjacent square next to where the TC is going need to be removed. So we're going to destroy that one and destroy that one. In here you're going to put your raised foundations. So one raised triangle and one raised square. Now we're going to go around and I'm going to upgrade all this to sheet metal just to show. As this one's for the bunker, it only needs to go to stone, although considering we're not using stone for the rest of the base, I still advise upgrading this to sheet metal. You can leave this one stone and hide satchels underneath it in the dirt, and then you can pickaxe out the top of it and use it later for additional storage if you so choose. Next we're going to put the walls on. So we're going to use a full layer of walls around the outside, all facing out. Now as our bunker's up here, we only want to use a half wall. This is important later. We're also going to face hard side walls into the bunker. Make sure you put this wall here and then remove the one underneath it. This will create you to be able to get out later. Now we're going to go around and upgrade all this. We are going to put a single half wall here. This will help protect the TC later, and this is where we're going to put our electrical switches that control turrets and other important things. This space here can be left for additional storage, or it's going to be a really good place for a turret. I'm going to put our doors in. So we're going to have one door there, one door here, and one here. Now the benefit of these three doors is they're all not splashable, so it's 3 additional doors that need to be obtained. And we're going to put our TC here, and we're going to put a code lock on it this time. So we're going to fill in the roof here. The best way to do it is to put the squares on first, because they will give you support to put the center triangles, otherwise you'll have trouble putting them down, as in these ones here. Now I would suggest putting a triangle here, but you don't need to. It just means that there's this weird half jump gap as you try and get out. If you're comfortable with that, you can put it there. This will give this wall extra protection later. I'll leave that one armored for now, just for the sake of it. Okay, the other thing we're going to need is you're going to need to put your half triangles in here to build your loot room. So the important thing to note is you've got your foundation, and then you want the second square out. So your second spot from your triangle. And it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 around. You probably have your workbench here, so you probably only need 6. Now, you can build the inner triangles from the inside, but the 3 squares need to be done on the outside. Your raised foundation is a square, so you know it's going to be 2 apart from that. So then let's go, that's our one triangle, square, that's our second square, and then that's our third one. So now let's just put our half walls in here. You can use squares or triangles here, it doesn't matter, as long as you get your half wall in here. This part will need to be done first before you remove them to create the external TCs. If you don't want the half triangles, you don't have to use this method. But as per the last video, it'll help you, it'll give you that extra storage. The next you can build the inside ones. I just used half triangles here and then put my half triangles on top of that. And then we move outside and we can remove this. And you have now created your loot room. Now a couple things to note here, obviously because it's going to be all metal frags, you want this to probably be metal, although you can start it with stone until you upgrade the base at a later state. This spot's perfect for a vending machine, and I would recommend putting your tool cupboard, your tier 3 here. And then obviously you've got your doors here. So you've got 3 doors there. So this means that if they break into the loot room, they're 3 rockets each, so that's an additional 9 rockets to get in here. This will be both my bag and your bag, Polly, so the two liters here. You can use window bars here if you would prefer, just whether you have the BP or the resources. And you can use a reinforced armored window rather than the glass window. This will make it a bit more solid so that they can't get in to loot the TC, because it doesn't matter if they destroy it or not, because they can't replace the TC down anyway. So now we're going to build, your core members can put bags on these 4 triangles here. So these will be members that you're happy to have in the bunker. So up here you'll have additional loot for all your guns, ammo, barbecue, research table, all that, and obviously a location for all the trial bags. Now you can use any which square to put your ladder hatch in, but I recommend this square here. And we're going to build our external. So it's just a full row of walls around. Going to put our floor frame in. And then we're going to fully enclose the roof. So always put your squares on first, because the rest is all triangles, so it'll make the build a lot faster to achieve. Okay. Keep upgrading that stupid one, armored. Now you can build this level at your leisure, but obviously note that you want to try and make sure you're not getting grief. So if you're building this, you don't want someone to be trying to external TC grief you. So it might be an idea to get the base layouts of those done, but I'll show you how to do those in a second. Make sure the ladder hatch is pointing away from you so that it drops against the wall. This will let you put a barbecue or a box behind here that doesn't conflict with the ladder hatch. For the internal walls, you want to block off this part here. So we're going to go 1, 2, and you can do this any which way you want. I went with this way, with an additional wall here. This can do a couple of things. This can be a double loot room. You can put an extra wall there to create a triangle secure directly above the bunker entry. And then you're just going to put your doors in here. So the same thing again. This is 4 doors this time instead of 3, and they all are non-cleavable, so which means they have to take in each door individually, and they're not worrying about the amount of rockets that they're going to use. Now note 4 doors is 12 rockets, so this wall here at 8 rockets for sheet metal will be cheaper. So it's just whether they're going to pick up on that and blow through it first, or they might hit this triangle first, or they might hit this floor here. This corner is the weakest point in the base, because this will open up all the main loot from there and will blow this wall out. So obviously that leads into the bunker. The idea of having the doors on this side again is it keeps them away from the TC. So even if they go through this corner, they don't get access to the TC, which is under this square. So the only time they can hit this square is if they break to the last door before they're going to get any cleave damage. So this section in here will be your armoured section first. So all in there. In addition, if you want it to be an extra loot room, you can put one here. The benefit of having a loot room here is that you can put a turret or a vending machine, and if they raid by doors, they're going to come in here and they're going to cleave off these two doors. When this one blows up and this one blows up, they will automatically get hit by the turret here, and you can use that as a defensive or shotgun traps or whatever you want. The idea to build a double loot room in here is you use a half wall with 2 triangles. You can then fit 4 boxes. You can fit more if you want, but you put a large, a small, or the turret, and then large and large boxes in there. Or you can use the 1 triangle vending machine and encase that one above the core there. But that's really up to you. Obviously, vending machines and all that, whatever you need in here. We'll just upgrade that. Okay, the next important thing is to sort out this side here. So different from the other build, we're going to block one of them off. Now the reason for this is this will just make this section a lot stronger, but will narrow the pathway a little bit, but that's not a problem. The only issue with it is that it will remove one of the 6 entries. So this one will need to be color coded so that you know you can't access the core from that side. So this floor is normally better placed on the opposite side of the TC, but obviously it doesn't really matter. Above each square is where you're going to want your doors. So square door, square door, square door, square door, square door. And then you put your walls in. Again, for the ceiling, put your squares in first. These provide the additional stability that are needed for the center triangles. If they're not all in, your triangles will break and you'll waste wood. And then obviously you would upgrade all this to sheet metal. Now the external TCs. The first thing we need to do is make sure that our raised foundation is covered. So if you go around and check the stability, you'll notice one is 100% stability. So that's obviously your raised foundation. So what you want to do is you want to start here and you want to put a low triangle. Then you go square, triangle, square, triangle, just like that. So it'll be 3 triangles and 2 squares directly off that wall. Now you will do the exact same thing of every second one. So you've got one there, so leave one gap, put one there, one there, one there, one there, and one there. Now note, before you put in these external TCs, this first triangle will need to be destroyed on adjacent sides because it prevents the placement of the TC. I'll show you how in a minute. So once you've got that layout on each corner, you're going to go out 8 squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to delete everything back into the core. Go back out to our square. We're going to build 4 half moons. So a half moon is 4 triangles that end up pointing the same way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then see how it continues. So we're going to build 4 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 2. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 is 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4 is 4. We're going to put 1 triangle, 1 square. Then we're going to do a double triangle back to back. And then you're going to place your 2 squares. This will be safe to upgrade to stone for now. The rest can get destroyed. You can destroy that at your leisure as you need. What you then need to do is grab your triangle foundation, and off this one here on the left there, you're going to build 6 tongues, so 6 of these ones. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This one here. At this one, you're going to put your square foundation, and then you're going to wrap it in a triangle. You're going to wall off this triangle, and your TC's going to go in here, like so. Upgrade this as necessary. You will need to build this for each section before you expand this wall, because this wall, this foundation, will stop the next TC going up. So, to show you this one again, square, triangle, square, triangle, 8 squares. You can use lower foundations because they don't really matter. As long as they've got the snap points, you're okay. Now back out to our 8. Now we're going to have to use a raised triangle here because we know we need to be at that higher level. So we're going to do a raised triangle, and then we can do our half moon. So there's your 1 half moon, 2, 3, 4, our 1 triangle, square, double triangle, double square. And then you can, as per before, destroy all that crap. Okay. Upgrade these again. And then 6 of these facing triangles. Or you can just do 12 triangles total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then to recount that back, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So on this 6th one, you want your square foundation, and then you wrap it in the triangles. As before, your TC goes in this corner. To build your wall onto your external TCs, you use 9 triangles and a square. So facing the other one and just in a straight line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a square. And that way your walls can stack as per how we wanted it. That's the base layout. As far as the honeycomb goes, the idea is that you go, so you put your outside walls first, so one side out, and this is your hard side out. So there'll be 2 on each side, and then you flip it in, and then you put your 2 inside walls here. And then when you upgrade these, you have the hard side pointing towards you, away from the core, and the other one's inside. For stairs, I use a L-shaped stairs on the left, and then I put a triangle there. This is the wood one. You want this to be wood. The reason for is when they raid and they try and blow through the door that you're going to put here, they'll break this, and then it requires extra effort or an extra ladder or something to break through the base. So we'll put our triangles on here. Obviously you'll just put a basic airlock there, so that's not a problem. So your external walls again need to be outward facing, outward facing, outward facing, outward facing, and then you do 1 inside facing wall on each consecutive side. So if I upgrade that to show you, you'll have soft side facing out, and then the hard side facing in. This is where you put the drop boxes from the inside, depending on what material you're going to use to store on the inside. Here, I use a U-shaped stair going up towards you, and then this will lead onto your metal triangle. Just be careful with this one that you do snap it to this foundation and not to this wall, because it can happen and it removes your peak down. So the peak down doesn't exist there because it's connected to the core foundation, not to the external. So just make sure when you're watching it that you do it to the far foundation. So the best way to do that is I normally do it from here because that clicks it to that side. And then that way you can create your peak downs here. To go up a level, I normally do the same wall foundation. Now I noticed that some people were putting ladder hatches here in the last base design. You don't want ladder hatches, you want your stairs again. Then when this one goes up here, same thing again, make sure your triangle is attached to the inner core. So like that, so you can keep your peak down. This floor then turns into your window. So your windows face out and then you have one internal facing wall. So when this applies, you end up with a closed gap. Now another suggestion is you can remove this wall entirely and keep this as a death drop, because what will happen is that will fall down, but that might mean people accidentally fall down it, so I probably wouldn't advise it. Make sure this wall faces in. Obviously this would all be sheet metal, and then you put your electrics room in the center here. Make sure when you're placing it that you put the door frame in, even if you're not putting a door in. So you can put a door frame there and just hold it. This door frame is important because it creates stability for the higher levels, and if you're gonna have trouble with the higher levels if you don't put this wall frame in. It's very important. In addition, you should put wall frames where you can in all these sections here. Now, you don't need every single one of them, but the more you have, the better the higher level is going to be for stability on the shooting floor. I believe you need at least these 4 on the bottom levels. So this one, that one, this one, and I would probably suggest these 2 here, so 1 and 2 before you enter into here. The 2 above aren't really relevant, but I like it because it keeps this side locked off from the staircase going down, and it stops people viewing into this region if you put this door here. So by putting this door here, I can block off any view of here, and if I want to open to shoot it, then I can open and shoot out my shooting floor without any much of a problem. Design for external TCs is quite simple. External walls bottom layer. And I'll load that up. Obviously you leave your gap for your door wherever you want it. And we're going to put 1 additional square foundation and 1 additional triangle foundation there. And then you're going to wall this off. So 1, 2, 3, and you put your double doors there and your solid wall. Now, I filled this in with honeycomb here and then used the same triangle loot room design that I showed you previously, because this is the best loot room design for triangles, and this will give anyone in these areas access to loot as well. So like that. Now in the original base design, I actually have this foundation, the 2 walls and the ceiling armored, and everything around it sheet. Now by having this armored, you actually completely seal the armored so they don't know it's armored going in. Now with having these walls armored, it means that the cheapest path is always going to be the doors, which you have 1 single door, 2 single door, a double door or garage door, a double door or garage door, and a double door or a garage door. So you're going to have 3 doubles or garages and 2 singles, and then possibly whatever you want to guard here. Again, I recommend the reinforced window bars with the window, because it doesn't matter if they destroy it, because it will be protected by the adjacent TC, which's wall frame will come up and touch here, which will block it out. Which means if they want to raid this TC, they will actually have to take out this one first, then this one, and then they'll be able to place a TC here. But at no point will that give them access to the core. Next, you fully do the ceilings in sheet metal. Sheet metal ceilings are important. It reduces the amount of rockets that they're going to have access to. I use the same drop-down loot room design for this floor. So you leave this triangle open and you just make sure that you do not put a window frame there. So normally I put my solid wall there and I put my window frame there. And then obviously your window frames go all the way around. Now you can put them literally all the way around, apart from that one wall. This one here is not an issue because you wall it off, like such. Now make sure you put this ceiling tile on because it's the one we were missing the other day. I would then also put a door here. This keeps the outside section from looking in. Your other option is to remove this and use it as a solid wall and then put a locker here, which is probably easier. This door here keeps people from the outside viewing into this base. So if this door was up, they could view straight from that rock all the way over there, straight through into the center of the base. So you'd put a garage door to prevent this. Also, to stop them from inside the compound looking in, I would put a wall there and a door here. You can put an additional door here, but it doesn't serve any purpose. It doesn't make the base any stronger or weaker, unless they choose to raid doors from the top, which is kind of a silly idea, but it's really up to you. I would say don't probably put it there, because it's a bit annoying trying to open the door coming up the ladder, but I would definitely put one at the bottom of the chute. I would put one there. So you would have your door, 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 door. Now in here you can do what width you want. I'd prefer that it get walled off. The reason being is it stops you being able to see the armoured as you walk in. As you walk in, they might decide to rocket this, or they might decide that TC might be behind this wall. On the outside you would have this sheet metal as well. So when they come in, it is quite likely that it is in that triangle there, which would be this one here. Make sure you don't forget to upgrade it. This hides the armoured. The armoured is not visible from any section, bar visually actually looking in, or if you break through one of the sheet metals. So to break through the sheet metal is 8 rockets, and then it's 15 rockets to get through the high wall. However, to do the doors, as we went over before, it's 4 garage doors, which is 12 rockets, and then one rocket each for the sheet metal. So that's 14 rockets by going straight through doors, or a minimum of 15 rocket to go straight through the core anyway. The benefit of using the garage doors over anything else is that you can then later upgrade them to double armored doors. However, the window frame is still a better option because it will prevent them taking any loot from the TC, whereas the other options, they have to remove the door to then take the TC, which then they get access to any loot inside it. The reinforced glass thing, they'll be able to shoot the TC with Explo ammo, but they won't be able to loot it. So this doesn't necessarily change the overall raid cost because they still need to get through that last door anyway, but it's completely your choice. Reinforced glass window is probably the best option because it can be removed with a hammer and that you can keep filling it up and you're not going to have any issues there. Otherwise, a garage door, double door is fine. For ease of use, the double doors and garage doors are probably simpler, but it's really just up to you. Apart from that, you duplicate that out 9 times and we're all good. Your windmill sections go above here and obviously above this final square here, which you've already worked out. So put the windmill at the back here. You can put it at on the inside of the compound, but the further in you have, the more problems you have with them getting collided with the tower. So when the wind comes from directly the opposite side of the tower, the closer the windmill is, the less chance it's going to be able to be triggered, which is also part of the reason you put them up high. The further back you move it, the more wind it can get. So you'll get more power on this square than this square. Apart from that, that is the base layout. Enjoy.